President Biden renewing calls to end drilling across the United States in an interview with the Weather Channel as he gears up for another speech showcasing his climate policies. But are voters buying it? We'll take all of this up with Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds next.
And back to our top story at this hour. A brand new batch of bank records appears to reveal millions of dollars in foreign payments sent to the Biden family and their business associates, including from one of Russia's wealthiest oligarchs. House Oversight Committee now questioning why that official has so far avoided sanctions by the Treasury Department and claiming she's being treated differently. Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds. He is a member of the House Oversight Committee. I really appreciate your time today. Obviously, these are big revelations. People are trying to determine what they should be making of this. What do you tell them?
I tell them it's very, very simple. This is all payback for the millions and millions. We've now documented $20 million, and we're still investigating, by the way. This is payback for the millions of dollars that the Biden family received because of their access to the brand, to the big guy being Joe Biden. Hunter Biden has no business, folks. Joe Biden has no business. There were no services being delivered except for access. And that's what Yelena Baturina basically has now. She escaped the sanctions regime
we can
from
pop
Joe
her picture
Biden.
up so people can see firsthand.
And everything else.
Yeah, this is. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Congressman. So this is Yelena Baturina. She's Russia's wealthiest woman. She paid Hunter Biden's company more than $3 million. So she directed this payment to a Hunter Biden business venture just weeks before then Vice President Joe Biden dined with her at a cafe in Washington. So what more are we learning about that and about her and that payment?
Well, what we're seeing is that payment was split. I think $750 went to Devon Archer. The rest of it followed Hunter Biden. And then through the account scheme that the Biden family set up when Joe Biden was vice president, the money is filtered through different accounts. Different members of the family are getting checks, etc. And so that is what you see consistently as you go through this. We're in the process of continuing our work of now going through subpoenas for some of these financial documents so we can track the money down. The White House says Joe Biden never got a dime. I don't believe it. And at the end of the day, if Hunter Biden was spending money for his dad on behalf of his dad doesn't have to take a dime. That's facilitating a bribe from the president of the United States through his son.
I just want to finish with this because this isn't the first time, obviously, that Republicans have been pressing the Treasury Department, Janet Yellen, for any information related to this matter and why someone like that is evading these sanctions. This was a letter dated back April of 2022 from House Republicans. They sent it to Yellen on Baturina evading sanctions. If the United States is avoiding sanctioning certain Russian oligarchs because of concerns they may attempt to influence American policy by exploiting Hunter Biden's connection with his father, the president of the United States, the American people deserve to know it. This is serious stuff, Congressman.
It is very serious and typical of Janet Yellen and a lot of people over in the Biden administration. When you have these questions, they have no response or they slow walk a response, and it is outrageous. If the president of the United States is compromised, the American people need to know about it.
Yeah. All right. I want to ask you also about this new Biden interview where he's talking about stopping drilling. I'll remind everybody where gas prices are today. By the way, now the national average $3.82. It's up like 30 cents just in the past month alone. From a year ago, they're down a bit, but still up substantially since this president took office. Yet he's saying this in a new interview. Listen.
I want to stop all drilling on the East Coast and the West Coast and in the Gulf.
Doesn't this just increase our reliance on foreign oil, on energy coming from our adversaries? When you see this push for green energy is quite clearly, as we have seen evidence in recent weeks and months, just premature?
100%. And this doesn't make any sense. People need to understand, even on the television sets that they're watching your program on, you need fossil fuels to be refined to make the component pieces to do any of this stuff. His energy policy is absurd. Add to the fact that his Department of Interior just made a national monument of 1 million acres of land where we would mine uranium. Folks, the third biggest source of uranium for our nuclear reactors comes from Russia. Joe Biden just took an allotment of uranium off the table. For what? So we could be more reliant on foreign countries? I mean, I get it. His son gets a bunch of money from these countries overseas, so I can see why Hunter would love the stuff. But it's terrible for our country, and this does not work. It's not going to help Americans have cheap and readily available energy. And that is the number one thing we need if we're going to break this crazy inflation brought to us by Joe Biden.
And if they're making the case how global this climate change is, the not in my backyard approach, it just doesn't work. To stop producing the energy that we need and that we're currently consuming here, only to then buy it from our adversaries, just doesn't make a lot of sense to people who are watching this play out. Byron, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate your time, Congressman.
Thank you.
All right, Trace.